Hey folks, just wanted to say how much I enjoyed today's game. Obviously would have loved to got at least a tie out of it, but I thought it was hard fought against a quality team, and every player contributed phenomenally. So all in all, really, really good stuff. And so let's take it a player at a time. Let's start with Paloma, our goal scorer. Obviously, a memorable thing will certainly be that goal. Nice pass from Miranda, but how it actually even started all the way from the back and got up to you. But I think even more important is how you played throughout the game. I asked you to get in there in some of these marking back positions or marking midfielder positions, as well as playing in an advanced position out wide. And I think your ability to actually keep the play in front of you, the ability to track players on the run, made a huge difference for us. Couldn't have been happier with your play. Nina, as always, a phenomenal job in goal. We sometimes take it for granted how good you are and your ability to actually catch the ball and not have any type of rebounds. And by the way, great dive on that shot that they had in the free start at the end. By the way, I didn't think that was should have been a free kick, but sometimes refs make the wrong calls. But you got your hands on it, and I thought you almost were going to knock it wide. So just once again, another outstanding job. Catherine, I thought that was your best game that I've seen you play. You totally shut down one of their best players on one of the best teams in the league. And I think they had a usual rhythm to be able to get it out wide. That player would dominate a defender, get past them, get crosses in, and you didn't let them do that. You frustrated them time and time and time again. And I think that you threw their game off significantly by shutting down that aspect of the game. And all aspects in which you played in reading the game was phenomenal. I thought it was practically a flawless effort from you. Lena, we put you in a different position today, or a couple different positions today, but had you played more of an advanced center midfielder position. And it was a little awkward in the beginning because the way that we played with a special marking midfielder, and I'll talk about a little bit of that later, but you adapted very well to that. And when we got into the flow of the game, your ability to kind of hold the ball, distribute passes, and created opportunities for us in the attack. And so, love when I see the ball at your feet because you always have the opportunity to do something special. Carter, great to have you out there. You can see that you've been playing high school soccer because your touch is really, really good. And very strong on the ball, winning critical tackles for us, but also when you win the ball is making just really some phenomenal outlet passes. I can remember one to Lauren specifically, is you stretched the field, got it beyond the player, and allowed our entire team to get up there. Things like that make a huge difference. Speaking of huge differences, Sarah, wow, what a wonderful game again. And I asked you to do, there was a lot of things we expected to do, but I asked you to do one thing differently with how we approached today's game was when you got the ball at your feet, look to actually play longer balls, cross to the other side of the field, and that allowed us to actually escape some of the pressure that team is putting on us, and I think helped significantly in allowing us to recover just our breath, our fitness, but also create counterattacking opportunities a little bit quicker. And ideally you like to be able to work some passes around, but sometimes there's a time for that and there's a time to play a little bit longer. And we did actually work the ball around quite well when we got in possession, but I think to escape that pressure, you played that perfectly, and I couldn't ask you to do in a better way. So even talk about some of the players that didn't make it out here today, and that was Jacqueline. Jacqueline, really disappointed we weren't able to make it today. I know your ankle was hurting you, and I was hopeful that you could have made it out here because I saw some of the things that some of the ideas that I had that I instituted for this game. I was thinking of you specifically in mind. And it came down to that time when I think we played in one of the last practices. I was trying to beat you, and you wouldn't let me get by you. And I was actually trying pretty hard. And so not only are you strong up top, but you're a very good one-on-one defender. And so I'm looking to use you in that capacity a little bit more in the future. But it was great having you out in practices. And I hope your ankle feels better so we get you in the games. Speaking of somebody that also has ankle challenge, Michelle. Now I heard back that that's still spraining and still hurting. I'm such a bum. It was such a bummer to lose you in the tournament game. And I really look forward to having you back because I think you're going to be once again one of our key players in the midfield. Talk about key players in the midfield who weren't able to actually play today either was Elizabeth. You were at every practice as well this past week. And doing a great job at practice. And I think that you demonstrated almost better than any other players the ability to actually get into a better angle and position to receive a pass once we have the ball, open your body up to the field, then see the field, and then make that pass. And your passing ability is one of the best on the team, but also the ability to get to head up and see that pass was phenomenal. And so when we rotated into those scrimmages, your magic shined, and so it's so much fun having you out there. We really miss you today and look forward to having you out for the next game. Lauren, dynamic is always out and up top. When we put you out there, things happen. And so I think you ran your butt off time and time again and created opportunities for us. And so, I can't, you make the difficult look easy, and you certainly work hard. Next person, Ivy. Shout out to you, because one of the things that we did today with Miranda, and I'll talk about a little bit of both of you. First of all, talk about Miranda and go back to Ivy. Miranda actually started out as our center forward, and she'd never played that, but was a bit of a false center forward. So, if this is the field here, rather than starting up top, we dropped her back and had her mark their most dangerous midfielder. And just track that player. And that threw them off with the play of our defense, not allowing them to penetrate out wide, and then not allowing to link up with one of their critical players in the midfield. Miranda totally shut that down. We really befuddled them big time in the first half, to the point where they took that player out, tried to figure out what they can do, switched their formation a little bit in order to adapt to that. Your ability to do that, and some other people that played that position. I think Rachel played the marking midfielder as well. And we also had a marking midfielder with, I think Paloma played that too. And so between the three of you, outstanding job. And also your ability to actually not only get upfield and get back, you ran a lot today. So just a fantastic job in adapting to that. And it's something that we just literally talked about before the game, and you executed it great. And one of the reasons I executed that is because I feedback I got from Ivy. And really Ivy and other players, but when we played the last Arlington game, one of the things that you brought up was the fact that we weren't actually picking up their center midfielder as they were taking the ball from one side of the field to the other, and as they were rotating the ball around, we left that player open and made it easier for them. And so we're kind of dropping back into space, but weren't marking that player out. And based on that, I thought about the fact that we knew that the team we were playing this weekend also had an outstanding, strong center midfielder. We got to do something about it. And so your feedback led to that strategy. And it almost, we came close to actually winning that game. So look forward to having you back out there. I hope your knee's feeling better. And, I think as we adapt that strategy for one team and another, continue, look for your feedback as well as your solid play in the midfield and up top. Speaking of solid play, Kate, your ability to play on the attack or defense has been super strong this year, but today especially, both you and Catherine just shut it down. And I think they weren't used to the fact that they could typically work the ball down the wings, but you didn't give them any of that. Time and time again, you positioned yourself perfectly. You went in for tackles at the right time. When you won the ball, you were distributing it beautifully. And the opportunities when we had to get upfield, we were getting upfield to the team. So just once again, a really, really strong performance. Certainly don't take you for granted. I turned your mom today, and I was actually just in awe of how strong you played. Alyssa, let me tell you, when you're on the ball, you're showing more and more how you're improving your ball skills. When you came off in the second half, I remember talking about it, and what you didn't see was me raving to your teammates with the plays that you were making as you were receiving the ball, finding other players, and then playing off of that. You were just making just some tremendous passes, and I think you had a phenomenal through ball to either, I think it was Paloma or Lauren at one time. So great job. And just keep up the work. And I think all the practice you're putting in is really coming through. Carmine, I know with cheerleading, haven't been able to get out and play that much, but it certainly didn't show today. We played you more up top, and it was a bit of a dynamic one in which you kind of sliding between like center forward and wing. But also, your strength in tracking back and helping us win the ball made it really tough on them. And so when you came in on the first half, you set an extra tone for the team that was phenomenal. It's kind of like, hey, listen, I'm in, I'm ready to work hard, I'm ready to fight for this ball. And we started creating opportunities as a result of just the electricity you brought in there, the effort and the skill. So I was very excited about it. Rachel, we started you up top because you weren't feeling well today. It's one of the reasons why we actually had Audrey hop back into the center defender position. Well, you certainly didn't look too sick based on the way you played. You played hard up top, you played hard as a center midfielder, and also as that marking back that we had. So I think we probably switched you through about 3 different positions today, and I think you really just worked your butt off on all 3. So outstanding job, created opportunities for us many times, and so I thought it was just really good. Audrey, this is the first full game that I've coached that you've played a full game in center defender, and you were outstanding. I raved about what the wing defenders did, but between what you and Sarah did in the middle was outstanding. You're often the marking center defender, and they couldn't get anything going. You're always, and also your decision making on when to switch off as to when maybe Sarah stepped up in the player, then you filled in the right space. Instinctively, you always knew where to be at the right time. And it was also great to have the ball at your feet in the final third and an ability to make decisions. Your skill on the ball allowed you to deftly find the next player and make passes and escape our final third or our defensive third and start advancing the ball forward. And so, you just did a phenomenal job. And Margaret, you talk about possession and also clarity of what you do with the ball at your feet. I think you epitomized it today. I talked in practices about how you have a really good sense of what pace you can put on the ball. You didn't agree with me, but you showed today that I was right. That Rachel made a run down the line, the defender followed her, but there was a gap on the inside, and you played a perfectly timed pass that released Rachel down to the end line, and we got a beautiful cross and a nice opportunity. And so that was just one of many things that you did that showed that you've got a great first touch on the ball, and when the ball goes to you, things happen. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were the person that started the attack that ended with our goal in the first half. So if you can't see this, or if it doesn't look anything, this is head, a little bit of a torso, and these are arms up in the air. So I've got hands up in the air with nothing but praise for how the team played today. Once again, I think it was disappointment that you didn't get at least a tie out of it, but that's the way the ball bounces sometimes. So look forward to seeing people at practice this week if you can make it out, and looking forward to our next game because I think the team continues to develop. I'm excited about what we're doing. Thanks. Bye.